Whoa, watch your mouth. It's Mornings on the Beach on the air for another weekend right here on Long Beach Public Radio. My name is Danny Lemos, and today on the show, we're going to start with Tales from a Week in Mercury Retrograde.
Well, that's what that was.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
I got a great story. That's coming up.
And I'm Mike Stark, and we're going to check into what we can expect from the FCC once Trump takes over.
Oh, and you know there's something going to be happening.
I'm Melanie Ray, and guess how many times California sued Trump during his first administration?
Write it down on a piece of paper. Let's see who gets closer. That's awesome. It's all coming up on the show. Plus, we're going to be talking to you about the station and introducing you to some of the key characters around the station. I do mean character. We're going to have a good time today here on Mornings on the Beach. Let's start off with, how was your week? Thinking back, did anything go right this week? Did anything go right this week? I'll tell you about, if you believe in astrology and you know about Mercury retrograde, then you know what I'm talking about. And it is one of those times when everything that involves communication, travel, agreement, understanding, like communicating with people, it'll all go awry. So, and of course, I'm like, nah, it's not going to be bad this time. Fortunately, I didn't read up on it because it's a really bad one. And I'll explain. My week started on Monday by recognizing the first day of Mercury retrograde. I wasn't going to sign any agreements that were waiting for me until afterwards, December 16th. All right. So that was okay. Monday went fine. Tuesday morning, I get a text. We're off the air. Okay. So I come down here and realize there's no lights on. And this is a place of business.
Right.
What's going on? They lost power. And they lost power downstairs in what I can only describe as a catacomb, because the fuse that was needed to repower us was a 90 amp fuse from sometime in the early century.
Oh my God.
Last century. And so they had to go find it. So we were off the air for 2 days, pretty much. That was my day. So I thought, you know what, since I don't have a station to go into at the moment, because the door locks with electricity and we couldn't get in, I decided to take the dog for a walk. And I picked up his bestie. We thought we'd go and play in the park. We went. And of course, as I was leaving the park, I slapped my pocket and went, "Where's my phone?" Yeah, now you got to know me. I haven't lost my phone in probably 11 years. I'm always aware of where it is. So I was immediately aware of where it wasn't. And I freak out, as anybody would. I lost my lifeline. And of course, that's during an emergency at the radio station. So there's that. And so I go back and look for it, and I'm frustrated. I go home. I say, okay, what do I got to do to replace it? And I look on the computer for Find My iPhone. It's traveling towards Lenox, California.
Whoops.
Up the 405.
Oh, no.
I figured I've seen you later. Bye. So I wipe it. Okay, as you can do. So I go to Verizon and I say, what do I have to do to get out of here with a phone today? Because the station's an emergency crisis. He goes, well, let me look this up. You have to give me $1,299 to pay off the old phone and pay for the new. No. Or you could wait for the insurance claim, which will send you the phone tomorrow morning for free.
Let's do that one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
of course. So I leave and I go do that. Just as I'm about to press send on the insurance claim, and the little thing, the screen pops up. Be careful of fraud. If you say yes to any of this, it's not true. You've committed a crime.
Right.
I get a text from my friend and neighbor. Not a text. It's on my computer. It comes up. It says, Danny, somebody found your phone. This is 7 hours later.
Wow.
Yeah. And the person found it right when it was open on the ground, texted the first person he saw, which was my neighbor and workout partner, and said, I have your phone, somebody's phone that you know.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. I got the phone back by 8 o'clock that night.
Wow.
Then I had to go through the process.
So where's Mercury now?
Well, it is still retrograding. Yeah, because the next day we come in, I have to put the station on the air, right? So we have to plug that sucker in. And then it's 2 weeks before we planned to actually put this new computer on the air.
Right.
So I'll say right now, if you're listening to the station during the week and you hear songs over and over again, yeah, we know. It's just because there's not enough music in that sucker yet. We were supposed to be an upload week, putting new music on this week, testing it out next week, and then plugging it on December 16th, the last day of Mercury retrograde.
Right.
So it got me.
It did.
How about you? Anybody else?
I had a minor crisis in that respect, although I had some good things happen. But since we're talking the evil of Mercury retrograde, I went to open my garage door with the electric garage door opener, and it wouldn't open.
Why?
And it turns out, and this has happened before, that there's a circuit box inside the garage that controls the electricity for the garage door.
Technical problems? Boom.
Yeah, so
It's right there.
I go to try and get open it manually. You know, there's a way to open those,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get that to work. And the guy that installed it lives right across the street, so I texted him and I said, "Hey, I need your help." "Oh, I'll get to it on Monday." Well, it is as of this taping. It's Thursday. He still hasn't
No
got
kidding.
to it. And nobody's, I haven't been able to get anything out of my garage,
No.
which is good because I haven't had to put up the Christmas tree.
There is always an upside.
Yeah, there's an upside.
To what goes on,
Yeah.
because I'll tell you one thing. One thing was a quick little vacation away from the station because you couldn't get
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And that one, and then obviously putting the news station on the air early means that we get a chance to really just hear a new sound out of the radio station.
And it's sounding good.
It is. Thank you so much. There's so many people scrambling in the four wings. They're helping us out. So kudos to all those folks. And we're going to hear from our music director, who I've been given a nervous breakdown. Tries to get ready with all this new music. It has to come from somewhere. And if you're thinking, why didn't you just import the music that was playing on the radio station? Because we couldn't. It was in a language that wasn't understandable. And that's because it was in Linux. I don't like Linux, and now I
Yeah.
like it even more. I hate it. But anyway, that's our tale of Mercury retrograde. If your week was something like that, there's a reason, and you have 2 more weeks of it. December 16th, it's over. So if you feel the pull, some people don't feel it at all. But if you're sensitive to things like people canceling on your appointments, how many did that happen this week, right? We showed up to Thanksgiving dinner, right? I invited 10 people to a restaurant for Thanksgiving turkey dinner.
Yep.
We get there at 2 o'clock. They say we don't serve till 4.
Oh, well.
That was like, so we called it the Mercury retrograde Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
There's just stuff that goes on.
Did all your people show up?
Oh yeah, and
Well,
they
there you go.
Yeah, well, guess what? They, I love these side comments. Well, if Danny
Well,
had
tell
called
us
and
how
asked them what time they serve, it's a little late for that.
Yeah.
Really, please. But I felt horrible. Horrible.
So
I'll
you had
just drink
a
until then.
BLT for
I had short ribs,
Oh,
which
okay.
was only satisfying to Boomer because he got the leftovers.
There you go.
You know how it is when you really want something?
Right.
And I had waited for this turkey dinner. They do a great job. Fuego at the Hotel Maya. They do a great job, and it didn't pay me to say that. But
Short ribs.
Something else, right? It's just been one of those weeks.
Yep.
And people last night, this is being taped on Wednesday, so last night was the Christmas tree lighting at the Long Beach Terrace Theater. Beautiful event, right? We passed by around 6:15. No, sorry, 5:15. Starts at 6. There were at least 10,000 people in line. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
It started at the Terrace Theater in both directions. One line went straight to Magnolia, all the way back. The other one went all the way back to Alamitos. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Anybody who was there. So, and then of course they start telling people you can't bring your dog. There are hundreds of people in line with their animals because we're used to bringing them to the Terrace Theater area.
Yeah.
Nope. But I don't know what next year they're going to have to make a block party out of it. And guess who's the DJ is going to be? KLPP.
There we go. That's it.
That
Nice.
would be great.
Keep it local.
Nice.
I would love it. Well, a lot of other things went on too. And we've been hearing about nominations from Trump's new, can we call it a cabinet? Or can we call it a clown car? One or the other.
something.
Yeah, and that's going to be at the FCC. He's appointed. Yeah, really. Trump is a trunk.
I like trunk.
Yeah, me too.
I'd use that
He's
for the clown car.
the trunk car.
The trunk car.
He's nominated somebody who was one of the chief architects for his Project 2025.
The one he doesn't know anything about?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
This guy wrote the part about the FCC and media censorship, right? So he really wants to defund PBS. That's first on his list if he gets confirmed. And most likely because of his experience in the FCC, he will get confirmed. And then that's going to be one of his first things is to go after, first of all, funding. He says we can save billions of dollars. Well, unless they're giving some secret budget to NPR, it's not billions.
No.
But at the same time, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because we're basically on the fringe of public broadcasting.
Sure.
So what's next? Where he says if you're giving to that, you're on a list, right? Who knows what's going to happen? However, it doesn't bode well. For this guy, by the way, is in favor of even more deregulation of radio, so more ownership by single owners can happen.
Remember when Republicans were about small government?
Yeah, exactly. And
Right?
well, this is about whatever they're told, in a sense. Oh, yeah, well, we'll adopt this policy now. But deregulation, sitting in a radio station, we know how horrible that's made regular radio.
Yeah, it's just it's a tragedy, and it was a Democratic president at the time.
Yeah, at the time,
by the way,
right.
that put that through. So it's not a party issue usually, but they thought it was going to work, and it didn't.
It didn't.
At all.
And so let's do it more. Why not? Let's get somebody a chance to own as many radio and TV stations as they possibly can, which means the people with the money are the ones who are going to control up and gobble up all the stations.
Right.
And basically, they get to decide what you think. Because no matter what, Americans listen to what they're told on television and repeat it as the truth.
Sure.
Right? So you can repeat anything we say on this show as the truth.
Even the
Go ahead,
BS.
try it.
Yeah, go ahead. See where that gets you.
And please, for heaven's sakes, do not take this show as like the voice of KLBP. So though
Right.
I am the general manager here, and though I am the president of the board that owns this radio station, I'm sitting here in my own personal capacity as a radio host. We've done this show for over 14 years. We're in season 15. So I'm just representing me. Please don't.
Is that your personal disclaimer here?
Yeah, only because
keep
people
you
are-
out of jail or
Do you
what?
think the station should be talking about that? Well, the station isn't talking about that.
Right.
I'm talking about it.
Right.
And I just happen to work at the station.
Yeah.
But no, really, we're about that. And by the way, if you're going to compliment us, please send that email right along. If you don't want to compliment us, or you think we're doing something wrong, you can save that.
Yeah.
Just don't save that. It is Mornings on the Beach right here for a Saturday. We're almost to Christmas. Did I just make somebody like gulp?
That was me.
Yeah. Yeah. 'cause
Let's
we're
be
close.
clear. That's me, Melanie Ray, gulping at Christmas.
Yeah, we're close, but I want to.
That's an old Leonard Cohen song that's recently
Oh.
been redone by Jake Clemens. If the name
great
doesn't
song.
sound familiar, it's the replacement for Clarence Clemens
knew it.
in the E Street Band. Jake is was Clarence's cousin or nephew, I
Yeah,
believe.
nephew.
Yeah, and so he is doing solo
great.
work, and this is one
Great
of the
song.
first songs he's put out.
That's great. Expanding my Leonard Cohen library. 'Cause
There you
I
go.
didn't realize that. No, that's great. This is Mornings on the Beach with Danny.
Mike?
Melanie Ray.
And over there,
Daniel McMahon.
hey, Daniel, the host of one of our shows here.
Yeah, that's right. Hike Talk Repeat.
Yep. And it's on when?
You can catch us from 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoons.
That's great. Right
Yeah.
here on the station. He does it live.
Right here on KLBP.
So he's got more guts than we do. We pre-tape this a couple days in advance. But we have some breaking news.
Live is option A. I will be live this Saturday with Steve Gillismore of LB Heritage, all architectural stuff. But I do pre-recorded stuff too. Work around my guest schedules.
That's great. He's
you
a
know,
king
possible.
of multimedia.
There you go.
And I'm happy to say I trained him.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
over at
Yeah.
22 West.
Yeah, of course, yeah. 22 West of Long Beach State.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you graduated. Then what happened?
And then I, as far as like this show went on hiatus for, I guess, until October, whenever I started doing it over here. And then my first guest was Mike Ortiz, and he's the owner of the pizza parlor over on Spring and Clark. And I've just been trying to find really cool guests all
He
throughout.
has been.
John Grossi of the 908 magazine. Yeah, I've been trying to like kind of. I've done a lot of food and bar stuff. Brad Eston, who owns and operates K Sarah now, and he does. He's the dude that basically opened up Port City, which made the whole transition from the Iguana Kellys, which is a complete turnover.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for sure.
How do you stay in touch with all of this?
I just reach out to people via email. Brad, I've known since I was like in ninth grade. I've known Brad forever, but
So sounds to me like he goes from pizza to beer.
yeah, exactly. But I am trying to transition to more
I'm teasing you.
stuff that is historical, and so we're going to talk about this Saturday. We're going to talk about what Long Beach was, what it is now, and how the preservation efforts for downtown Long Beach specifically, with all these new high-rise apartment buildings.
Great
and
stuff.
Yeah, I actually did a walking tour. So I cornered.
you
them.
did the
I
mayor's walking
I
tour?
cornered LB Heritage basically. Is
Oh,
how
yeah,
I
yeah.
did this. So
Yeah, yeah.
I reached out via email. Didn't get a response, and then I was looking on their website, and I saw they had these docent-led walking tours.
Yeah.
and I did one of them. And
What did you learn?
Well, I learned. So we were able to go to. I learned a bunch. So there was a the arts building across the street from the former Portuguese Bend. I forgot what's
Right.
Angel Share. I forgot what's there. On 3rd Street.
I do.
Right there.
Yeah, right there at the promenade.
They used to. This is. I don't know if they used to teach dancing there, if you will. Oh. Yeah.
What kind of dancing?
What were the air quotes for that? I didn't get the air quote reference.
I'll let you guys use your imagination for that.
Okay.
And a lot of the Art Deco architecture that we see here in Long Beach is a rebuild. There was a big earthquake, and I believe around 1930.
Oh, no kidding.
So a lot of these buildings were built prior to that.
Yeah.
And there was a big convention in France that the Art Deco style was rolled out in.
Oh, wow.
And so that was in, I think, the late 20s, or I don't remember the exact dates, but when they rebuilt Long Beach, they built a lot of it up with that idea in mind to
That's great.
be current and stuff. And even some of the buildings were in I believe it was the 50s or 60s, they had a whole new movement of architecture that would just like show us what it's made out of. So some buildings had this beautiful Art Deco that they just took off
No.
for the trend of the time
Oh,
to just make
no.
it look like a building because
Yeah.
they could see the concrete or whatever. It was
Well,
built
now
like.
everything is solid right angles. Very, it's all just nothing unique. But
Yeah.
except for one building right here on Broadway and Long Beach Boulevard, has like the slanted windows. It's got some really style to it.
Oh, the new apartment buildings.
Yeah, the whatever that's called, East Village, whatever.
Yeah, so right there on Long Beach Boulevard.
Very strange architecture.
So there's the old Acres of Books.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And so because it was a historical landmark, they had to keep the front. So basically, the entire building is brand new except for that front facade.
Yeah, and there have been events over and over again. They're using it right now since they have no lessee. They're using it for events. If you you have an art event or you have something that the city could benefit off, go get in touch with them at RDC Studio
Well, it's
111.
a lovely spot. I've been to an art event there, and they had
Me too.
They had dancing with no air quotes.
But dang.
If you've been around a long time, you remember Acres of Books.
I do.
I even remember the store cat. Remember that cat?
Yes,
it's all
and the
jacked up. It
smell.
looked like a pirate. It smelled
The
like
smell
right.
in there was so awesome. Yeah,
Right. So when it
books.
went, that was a heartbreaker. But I remember watching. They kept that frame since it was historical. So it's good that there's something left
I
of
wanna
it for
put
us
that-
old folk.
I'd like to have an event there, so I want to put Daniel on that.
Okay,
because
get
he
on
seems
it.
to know everybody.
I'll try to do my best. I'll try to do my best.
But that's great. That's what the station is about.
Yeah.
It's about getting you, if you're interested, like Daniel is, he's going to go find his own interviews, your own subjects, things that interest you, and do your own show. You can do that here. And I brought you in because I really wanted people to know that they could also do that. You just show up. I said, show up for training. He shows up, right, and gets trained. And then he's by himself in the studio, which, either is a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll find out later. But that's kind of what we offer here at KLBP. Once again, done with the plug.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. And like, I was born and raised in Long Beach. Had a hiatus to Northern California, which we'll touch on the earthquake in a second. But there's since I started doing this show. Well, really, I guess it all started this summer when I started doing yoga on the Bluff, and I realized there are so many things that I just take for granted and don't really look into
It's
or pay
really
attention to,
great.
just being from Long Beach.
Yeah.
And you just think like, oh, that's just something people do, but just go and do it.
So
It's
you're
fun.
one of,
It's
you're
like
one
cool
of
stuff.
you're one of those guys, the yoga
What?
guys. Okay, great. So
The yoga.
Is it true you can actually meet
a
a girlfriend?
Huh?
Is it true you can meet a girlfriend doing yoga on the Bluff?
I assume. Yeah, I assume
I'm
you
thinking
can.
that
I haven't.
Well, I see so many single men heading to the Bluff at noon.
They may not be looking for girlfriends.
Oh well, oops.
Especially in
Just
this,
saying.
especially in this town.
Yeah. And I think you can score all kinds of things at Yoga on the Bluff.
There you go.
There is a distinct fragrance every once in a while that you're graced with during yoga.
I
on the
never
Bluff.
thought of that. That makes yoga so much easier, or more confusing, depending on your. Oh my goodness!
A bunch of different ways to stimulate your mind and body during
So
yoga.
funny. And it's live radio, and you wish you could see that. I blushed actually during Melanie's last comment because she
That's
caught
why
me.
I'm here, is to make Danny blush.
That's awesome. It is Mornings on the Beach. And by the way, new rules about boarding an airplane if you're flying on American Airlines. You've read about this?
No.
These new rules are they now have a monitor And your ticket, you have to scan your ticket like you do when you have to leave Vaughn's here in downtown Long Beach. You have to scan your receipt. You have to scan your ticket. And if you're out of order, it will say, boop, get back in line. So shaming people
That's a good
electronically.
idea.
Yeah, well, people love it.
Yeah, I love it.
All the other airlines consulted want to roll that out also, so that you know how people are. They just kind of cram in when they can. And if you're not scanned for early boarding, and you pretend that you need early boarding, and it'll go early boarding denied. Get back in line. Love that.
Yeah.
American Airlines started it first. So there's the only good thing I can think about today about AI. Because we're going to bring up a story in the next segment about AI on your phone. And if you have an iPhone, you want to listen. Because we're going to tell you about something that you may not know about on your phone, and with a chance to also opt out of it. So we'll get to that in the next segment. In the meantime, we're going to talk a little bit about, we're taping on Thursday, and we had breaking news just moments ago. And that was about something in Northern California. I wish.
Type.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, boomer.
All right, breaking news.
This just in. A 7.0 earthquake just happened off of the coast of Humboldt County in closest to Petrolia, California, which is actually a little unincorporated area in Humboldt County that was very oil rich and a long time, and so it's a very active area as far as earthquakes go.
And this just
not too
happened
far off the coast. This happened at 10:44 this morning.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 10:44 this morning, and so the 7.0 earthquake. A friend of mine works at the community college up there, College of the Redwoods.
Oh yeah,
and he was on lockdown for a little while, and probably about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, he was able to leave to go to get to higher ground for a tsunami warning, but the tsunami warning was lifted at 12:07.
Oh, geez.
So just after, but all the way down to San Mateo, there is expected to be some sort of activity going on as far as tsunamis go.
No kidding.
Yeah, a little interesting tidbit about the a long time ago, like early 1900s, to transport oil, they would put it in sacks of goat skin and put it on the side of mules to walk it over the hills and
No
the rough
kidding.
terrain. And so they, that obviously didn't really last too long.
And you struck a nerve because I've been watching the National Geographic series about tsunami.
Oh yeah, okay.
Whoa, talk about putting a little reality into your world. Oh, that happened.
Dozens of aftershocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that the first wave is not the most dangerous. The second or third wave of a tsunami can be the worst, the devastating. I didn't know that. You learn something every day when you're watching National Geographic, that's for sure.
I remember when there was that one in, was it Thailand a little while ago or Indonesia?
Yeah,
it was Indonesia?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a bunch of people walk out super far because the
Yes.
water line dropped.
And then
Don't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty after that
Yeah.
for sure.
which I think is crazy because, I guess they don't know that first it surges out, then it comes back with, wild abandon. But wow, the people, and it's how quickly it destroyed everything. That to me is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been watching that. So tsunami warnings, I take them seriously. I live right on the beach here at Long Beach, which is 40 foot above sea level, but I still worry.
Yeah. And luckily, there's the breakwater.
No, when
That
I was
has to do something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 2 feet high. Forget that.
But it's in the name.
Breaks
Yes.
the water.
So if you open up your window one morning and there's the Queen Mary right across the street, then you know we had a tsunami. It's going to be hilarious.
And I think that
Oh,
pillars,
gosh.
the circular pillars, are able to absorb the energy from the water better than the square.
No kidding.
Pegs and stuff
You
like
know
that.
so much about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's tsunami thing is actually a thing. I lived up there for 6 years, and you know where all the evacuation zones are and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so wild to me that, you could be that close to danger. I think about how fast I could make it to Signal Hill from Ocean and Alamitos, which is about 2.3 miles away. It'll take me 20 seconds because I'm going to be climbing over y'all. Like when you exit an airplane, you ever think about if you landed in a crash? People get stupid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right over their shoulders. I'm just, I'll be the one that's climbing over you because I'm not gonna die in that sucker. I'm sorry, but let's play another song. No, we're thinking about it. We got something from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, this is a new song. It's an old song, obviously, but it's a new song that was re-released in a repackage of the Long After Dark album. So,
And it's called
and it's called Never be.
One of those things.
It's a retrograde thing.
Never be you.
I love the way he had to put his glasses on.
Yeah, never be you.
That's Mornings on the Beach. Brand new Tom Petty. Well, actually, a re-release of Tom Petty.
It's a little tough for him to do it now a lot.
Well, there's that. It's Mornings on the Beach with Danny.
Melanie Ray?
Mike Stark.
And we have a special guest in the studio. And I brought her in. It's Chris Kosach is here. Chris has a veteran here at KLBP. She literally had held the helm of the station for how long were you GM?
I tried to purge that. About a year and a half.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it was supposed to be 2 months.
Right. And so I came on board as the next GM, and then Chris wanted to do music. That was her passion. And so I think we had one conversation about music, and I was sold. This woman's on the beam about where this station can be positioned along the other stations in LA. And then we introduced her cohort, Mike Stark, who's also been helping us select music because, well, explain your theory of what we should sound like, why we're picking the music we're picking.
Well, I do go by the old adage that corporate radio still sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It does. But I don't understand why a lot of people kind of want to reinvent what's across town.
Yeah.
That's just been homogenized to death. And I also don't understand why people aren't celebrating this amazing resurgence of underground indie music that's out there right now. It's not getting on the air. Even the so-called indie stations around town, they're doing a fair job, but they also, and I'm certainly not going to throw anyone under the bus because I'm a fan of some other stations, but I just think we can do it a little bit better because I think that they are stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to be everybody's best friend in the AAA world. And I think that there's some gems that are just still not getting through, and I aim to get to them one at a time.
Yeah. And you're probably hearing them on the station. And
it goes beyond all of what she said too. There's older songs that don't get played on the radio anymore because
For sure.
regular radio stations, they do all sorts of testing, these testing research things that really don't prove anything, except that they narrow the older song playlist to, a handful of songs, and there's a lot of great music that doesn't test well, but it's still great music.
Or it never got tested in the first
or
place.
it never got tested.
That's true.
Exactly. Or it never got tested.
And those are the songs we're hoping to feature here on the station.
For sure. Not just new indie stuff, but like Mike said, the stuff that you don't hear anymore. Like if, grocery store music, you're not going to hear that stuff here. So your Men Without Hats and your Britney Spears and God Love 'em. If, April Fool's Day, maybe we'll play them. Yeah. But I really don't want to play Men Without Hats.
I heard Nirvana in the bank the other day. It was crushing.
Was it was it elevator version of their music?
No, but it just doesn't feel so edgy anymore.
Yeah, no. But we aim to at least serve a sample of the community that wants something else out of radio.
Yeah.
Now, we know that you're not only going to get your programming just from us, because nobody does that anymore, but that's why we aim to give you some incredibly original shows, like this one, that you can listen to that aren't duplicated anywhere else, so that you'll get a chance to tune in, hopefully, with us and follow us, support us. I'm amazed at the amount of participation that we've gotten since Tuesday, Giving Tuesday. Day before yesterday, right? We've gotten a lot of contributions in, donations.
Really?
They're rolling in. I'm not
Fantastic.
kidding. I don't know who's asking, and I don't care. Just keep them coming. Actually, we do know some of our volunteers are actually just asking their friends to donate a little bit at a time. Every single dollar makes so much difference.
Amazing.
Especially when we have a list of things we need to buy. So as I see that start to shrink, because now we've got some money coming in, let's keep it going. So $5 a month to be a supporting member. That's all. $60 a year to support us. We can set that up on auto pay. You won't even recognize it, nor will you recognize it when we up that to 20. No, just kidding. People always say you're going to mess with my bank account. No, we're not. It's safe, secure to donate to KLBP through our website and our Venmo and our PayPal. We have all kinds of ways you can donate. But the most important part is it gets a chance for us to do what we want to do. And the new music, the new computer came in 2.5 weeks early, like a baby that was premature. And so we've been loading it up. So if you're hearing songs repeat too much, that's going to stop, I promise, as we add more tunes in. And the theory of this radio station as being an influencer in music, because we're not just playing tunes you can get from a record company. We're playing tunes from local artists.
Yeah, we sure are.
And-
Can I just say?
Yeah.
This is such a really exciting time in music.
Yeah.
There is such a cool underbelly, underground resurgence of rock and hip hop
agree.
and indie. There's such good stuff out there. There's also a lot of crap, but there's a lot of really good stuff out there that is just not getting any attention.
Yeah.
And they're not getting attention because these are people like literally, I'll pick on one band that I added this week.
Sure.
They're called Sunroom. The lead singer is from Long Beach. These guys all went to college down in San Diego. There's 4 of them. They're San Clemente, LA, Long Beach, and then there's another one. I can't remember where he's from. But the 4 of them together, they put on this vintage surf sound. I sent this to you.
Yeah, and it sounded great.
Oh, wow.
They're awesome. I don't think any of them can legally rent a car yet. Okay.
I don't need to.
However, they sound like they were around in the 60s. They do sound like they could have given, the Beach Boys a
That's
kick in the
great.
butt. They're great, but they're not getting airplay everywhere.
Right.
So we aim to do that.
Right. Well, they are now. Right here on this station.
Well, let me tout Chris a little
Sure,
more.
absolutely.
Because before we started adding all this music, it was basically on the old computer, and it was a lot of new music and a lot of stuff I'd never heard, and it sounded so good even then because I'd listened to the station prior to that, and it was
didn't
almost
sound- yeah,
it was
no.
almost unlistenable a lot of times.
Almost.
I'm being kind. When Chris started putting music into this,
Yeah.
I can honestly say, and a lot of it's not my demo. I'm an old guy, okay? I'm an old guy, and it's not my demo, but nothing I heard turned me off. It all kept me listening.
And me too, lately.
And that's what it's all about,
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's true.
What I got out of our first interview together was the fact that there was, first of all, you have to have a passion for this, and you had certainly had that.
Yeah.
Then you had to understand that someone has to make a decision. And it may not be the best one for everyone listening, but someone has to start somewhere. And I learned that lesson at Kiss FM. Because nobody told me what to do. They just put me in the job and let me pick music. And so I figured it came out of your gut. And the station succeeded very well when I started doing that. So then they started putting the testing in, and you all know what happened. You started hearing the same songs every 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's the key here is that most of the music that's on the air, the songs that I've contributed and the songs that Chris brings on the air, they come from the gut.
Yes.
You listen to the song and you like the song and it means something to you, and that goes for old, new, all kinds of music. And if it comes from your gut, it's perfect for this station.
You're speaking like that a perfect music radio person, but there's another version of that, which is the other side. When the song touches your ears and then it gets to you, your heart, your soul.
it's art.
It moves you. And that's what I love about some of the songs we're playing. Just like even the one we just played by Tom Petty, it'll never be you. That person will never be you. Who hasn't been there, right? Yeah. So we aim for that. But
and it's an opportunity to hear music that's outside of your algorithm.
There we go. Oh, that's a somebody
I
write that
love
down.
that.
Write that down. We gotta get that on the air. That's a great
a promo
slogan.
line.
That's a great
outside your
liner.
algorithm. KLBB.
Say that again.
It's an opportunity to hear music that's outside of your algorithm.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Because I listen to Spotify and I like everything. I like folk, I like hip hop, I like all this stuff. But on Spotify or Pandora, it sorts everything for you.
That's
here's
so
this
right.
and here's that, and,
so
and
right.
Music is infinite.
Yeah.
Why do I have to hear the same stuff over and over again?
That's right.
You're
right. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I was listening the other day. Again, we're in a kind of a startup phase.
We are.
So,
Preview.
the music. But I heard within a 15-minute period, I heard Andy Williams.
Yeah.
Nice.
Christmas song.
And then I heard Rage Against the Machine.
Did you really? That's beautiful.
Me too. I love
That's
it.
a beautiful thing.
For a promo weekend, remember those old hit weekends they used to do, like songs in a row, like 35 top hits? Let's do alphabetical. Just play them alphabetically through our library.
great.
A lot of stuff's going on here, but I also want to underline that anyone can get involved and help us.
Even you.
Yes, and you don't have to be just a radio person because, if you don't mind, you're a mom, right?
Yep.
You're raising kids and doing this.
Oh, you've seen me many times. You've literally seen me run out of here
Yeah.
because somebody needs something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. We can use whatever time you want to give us. But if you can give us 2 hours a week, you can volunteer for us and we'll put you right to work. That's no problem. And also, you heard Mike, we make the sound when we're moving the mics around because we only have 3. If you could donate, we could have 4. It's one of those things. We want to get to that for sure. But it's Mornings on the Beach right here for your Saturday and Sunday offerings. And for those of you listening, wonder why we're talking about things happening on Thursday, because that's when we tape the show in advance, because I ain't coming here at 8 o'clock on a weekend. But you are, because you're listening.
I don't even listen at 8 o'clock on Saturday.
Hey.
I'm at the dog park listening at
Saying
8 o'clock.
By the way, speaking of Saturday, it's the time to clean out your junk drawer. And I have some great news for you. Do you ever get a new phone and you keep the old adapters around because just in case you need them, right? And probably if you look back, you probably have 10 years worth of those cables. Mm-hmm. You've got stuff you've connected with your old iPod, standalone iPod way back when. You got all these old technology things. Did you know that it makes a difference whether you e-waste them or not? It makes a huge difference because they use that chemicals and copper that they get from those devices, and they're now applying them to technology to help fight against our global warming. So they say that Americans right now have over $10 billion of contributable devices in a junk drawer, probably. And you know what? As soon as I found mine, as soon as I read the article, I found mine. Yeah, I have about 13, going back to my very first Razor phone. And I'm thinking, so what are you doing with that stuff, right? Get it to your e-waste. They will know what to do with it. And you'll make a difference saving the community or saving the
I wish
planet.
they made it easier to e-waste and more people would
Well,
do
it
it.
is.
Is it twice a month?
Second and fourth Saturday of every
Signal
single
Hill,
month, yes,
right?
on Signal Hill, right off of Willow, between Willow and Spring on California. You'll see the cones set out and they'll direct traffic.
And the line, yeah.
Yeah, but it only takes 5 minutes. The line's not long, so don't be put off by that. But get that stuff, if you can, to e-waste, because that's just sitting around. And
Yeah.
what a great way to make a difference.
Yeah, there's gold and silver and
Piece
copper.
by piece. Yeah, and you're not going to be able to do anything with it, right? You're not going to melt it down and save it.
Right.
Like a big ball. Remember that? Like your grandma saved string? It's not something that people do anymore. But also, this week we've heard about the new word of the year, the Oxford Word of the Year.
Oh, what is it?
Anybody guess what it might be?
No.
You might, actually, because if you have...
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hock-2.
Oh,
No, that wasn't it, but that's
Oh,
close.
sorry.
I never hear that again.
That is an onomatopoeia.
That's true.
Very good.
It is
Very
true.
good, Beth.
Actually, the word brat.
Is it really?
Brat is the word of the year.
Brat.
Now, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Because does it mean, for me, a brat is a petulant little child.
Okay.
That's not what they mean? Do you know what
Well,
the modern definition of
There
brat
is a
means?
modern definition, and it was coined by Charlie XCX.
Yes.
And
who it
was.
she was this pop wonderkind
Oh,
of the
really?
summer. She's actually, a very good songwriter. I was just like, I have to admit, as a music snob, I kind of cast her off as another kind of product created by the music industry. But she's not. She actually was a singer-songwriter first, wrote some big hits for some other pop stars, and then started coming out with her own stuff.
kidding.
And so, she's this big dance pop star, and she called it the year of the brat.
No,
And
is that where it comes from?
yeah, so it's kind of, people took ownership of the N word. People took possession of the word bitch and started trying to change the connotation
Right,
of those words.
right,
Right,
right.
She's doing the same thing with brat.
And I was with you on how I felt about this person. And then I saw her on Saturday Night Live, and she was amazing.
No
actually.
kidding.
So-
Well, see, you schooled
Right?
me.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I know.
It's amazing. You school me.
So what's the new definition? Because brat certainly isn't a new word.
The new definition is kind of like someone taking charge of their life, no holds barred.
Because I know my 17-year-old daughter has a Brat sticker on her car, so obviously it's a new
So
thing.
you want to learn what that means?
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe some kind of abbreviation.
It is confident and independent attitude.
There you go. Right.
go.
The word of the year.
The nerd for the year. Okay.
And the word for Long Beach for the year is. No, dang it. Hang on. This made a funny joke.
Edit.
Just in case you don't get it, that's the word of the year around here. It's Mornings on the Beach for you right here. And we are.
Also an onomatopoeia, by the way.
That's right.
I love that word. I say it every time I have the chance. So thank you for bringing it up again.
We talked in the last show about Blue Sky, and we have since joined
Oh, I joined.
You have?
Yes.
Mike's my
Oh.
only friend on Blue Sky.
Mornings on the Beach. If you will search for Mornings on the Beach, you'll find that we have an account there now, so you can post. I got 1 like already.
All right.
For my joke. Yeah, because it's one of those places where people get to read your stuff. And as a comedy writer, I want to, and host of the show, I'd like to maybe post some funny lines for us. I wish. Let me see if I can bring up what I posted, because it was just a fly-by-night thing yesterday. Oh, here it is. And Silva Rivas liked it. Trump's new nominee.
Thanks, Silva.
Trump's new nominee to head the IRS is a former congressman who was named the best auctioneer in the Ozark for over 8 years, making him overqualified to be in Congress. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, man.
That's what we're doing right there. But you are an iPhone owner?
I am.
You, Melanie?
Yep.
Mike?
Everyone?
No.
Mike's the only one I can
no.
never reach on chat because he's not on
Yeah,
iChat.
I'm old. Remember that.
Yeah, that's
Keep
okay.
that in mind.
Well, that's probably a good
I saw
thing.
he has a cable drawn behind him as he uses his phone.
Does it,
Connected to the wall.
Right.
does it flip anywhere?
No, but my last one was a brick.
Oh, really? The
old
Motorola?
brick, yeah.
I remember that one. If you have done the iOS 18 update yet?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
haven't yet.
So your phone is now configured, if you have, to help your phone learn about your preferences, where you follow. Its AI intelligence is on the phone when you download it. So it's turned on.
Oh.
It's tracking you. It's trying to see what kind of apps you use, how you use them. And what they're saying is that it will predict an app for you. Let's say that you tune in every morning to KLBP on your KLBP app, right? Guess what? In the morning, it will show you the KLBP app because it knows that you want to go there. So if you don't want this, and I don't think I want my phone following me around, you can turn it off. Just go to settings, right? And you can turn off your artificial intelligence settings, or you can set them to track whatever you want it to track. Like, track my spending habits, whatever, but it's going to learn you so that it can suggest that. Which brings another nightmare.
Yeah.
if I
Can we just send
am
our phones to
on board.
work for us now?
That would be it. Here's what, though, you should be concerned with. And that is that artificial intelligence is getting so smart that if you have a presence on the internet, like we do here, right? And my voice for the last 15 years is all over the internet and clips of this show. Mm-hmm. So a message could be put together, sent to my family to tell them that I'm in dire trouble and I need their help. And could they please just call this number? By the way, then they surrender all their personal information, whatever they need to do, because it'll probably be some dire message that Danny's in dire trouble. And it's my voice they're hearing. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Well, there's a great tip this morning from Macworld. And the tip is to go ahead and create a very secret word in your family. Don't do it online like text message. Just do it in person. Say, our family secret word is going to be whatever it is. And that way.
Octua.
There you go. That's perfect. Who would guess that, right?
Right.
And you want that. You want them not to be able to guess.
Sorry, Grandma.
It's all right. She doesn't understand. It's okay. She's like, what is that? Is that like Native American?
Well, that's my dilemma. If I give my mother that, right, who they're going to call, right? My mother doesn't remember anything, so she's not going to remember what the secret word is. But making that, and so we're going to come up with one. I think that's smart, especially somebody in my family like me that's in media.
Right.
They're going to find my voice and then try to trigger something. So who knows? But that's in your future.
That's scary. That was the reason I left X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That was the final straw for me, was the new terms, and I'm the nerd that reads the terms most of the time, not all the time. But it said in there for AI learning, everything that you write
Yeah.
organically,
Isn't that something?
they will use. Oh. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want them. That's not something I want to give them permit. Maybe I will in the future if it turns out that, that'd be a good thing, but I want to control it myself. And that's, they really were pushing this iOS 18 update on you. They really wanted you to upload. So my phone did it automatically. Bad phone.
Are there any benefits to uploading it if you're not into the AI?
Well, there's a lot of different things on there for which they think they've reintegrated the photo app. But as far as I'm concerned, it's hard to find anything. I have to re-customize it myself, which is easy to do. You can customize it. But there's that. And there's other features that come along with the new phone, which I haven't even discovered yet.
My phone still thinks I say duck all the time. So.
They could fix that. Come on. You know they could fix that.
There was one time I attempted to, this should have been like a sitcom situation. I attempted to voice text a friend, and the word pencil came out as penis. Okay.
It's almost
and
better.
she's like a mom from PTA mom. And I said, you're going to need to have a pencil. Came out wrong. And then I saw it and I'm like, no.
Did you hate that?
And I asked her later, I'm like, oh my God, did you get a text from me? And she said, yeah. Was it weird? And she said, yeah. And then I said, what did it say? And she said, it just said no.
Oh, no.
Hallelujah.
I love it. Be careful. I hate that because I always look when I press send now. Yeah, I sent a naked picture of myself. I wasn't completely naked. It was gracefully naked, if there's such a thing, to a guest who was a comedian on my radio show. And he came on, he is scheduled to come on the next week. So he comes on and he says, well, I know everything I need to know about you, including which religion you are.
Oh, no. Did you really?
Now that information is fed into AI.
Yeah, there we go.
So you know.
Say, my mother doesn't even know that. I don't know. It's time for us to get on out of here, and we're going to get on here with a song that's thematically correct for Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
it's the new version of "Do They Know It's Christmas?" 40-year anniversary, and it's kind of different. There's some hip hop elements, and it's kind of cool.
Right here on Mornings on the Beach. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
Bye.